Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shred and Soul.
I'm Shred, aka Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, aka Wind Hughes. Today I want to talk to you about things that impact our lives and looking at, are we enslaved by the way we live? And some information about that and thoughts about that and ways to question our lives and actually what's going on our day-to-day lives and why we maybe feel the way we do.
That's going to be very interesting. And at the end of the episode, I'm going to share with you a malfunction flashback. I'll explain it at the end, so stay tuned.
And that's exciting, so don't go away. Make sure you stay for that.
Well,
So question number one, are you happy? And I'm asking you that because weekly, if not more, when I get a new person that I work with, sometimes multiple times a week, someone will say to me, what's wrong with me? And there's usually a very similar reality behind that when people say that, what is wrong with me? And I'll ask them, what do you mean? What's wrong with you? Well, I'm not happy in my day-to-day life. I don't find meaning. I find myself bored and depressed. I don't feel like going to my job anymore. I just don't see the point. And something's wrong with me that I just can't find that oomph or that motivation or energy like I once had. And of course, I always make sure there isn't anything medical going on or something immediately circumstantial that might be causing that. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, there isn't anything else going on. There's just this malaise that people are feeling. And so I'll ask them questions, and very, very frequently it comes down to that we are living in a way that is so unhealthy, and we internalize our reaction to this unhealthy, very controlled way of living that creates all kinds of feelings for us. We internalize that as something's wrong with us because we have a reaction to it that makes us feel uncomfortable. And the discomfort, rather than it directing us to what's going on in our life that is not working or is unhealthy, we internalize that as what is wrong with us. Or our family members might say, what's the matter with you? You're not the same way you used to be, or why don't you want to go to school or work, or you seem unhappy all of the time.
I guess the malaise could be a pot of boiling water that we're in, and then we complain about being hot and not realizing that we are in a pot of boiling water.
A very good way to say it. So I'll ask a lot of questions, as I said, and some of the things I look at is, well, how do you live your life? And you look at how most of us, unless we're independently wealthy or we've created a business that we've been able to direct our time and our money and the investment of energy in what we do in a way that's very satisfying for us and creates a lot of sustainability and independence in our lives. But the majority of people don't have that in the moment. So I ask, what are you doing with your life? And most people will describe some form of, I'm getting up early in the morning, I'm working all day long, I have a commute, or I have to pick up the kids and then go to a baseball game. I get home late. I rush to have dinner. I rush to get the kids to bed. If they don't have, get up in the morning, do the same thing again. If they don't have children, it might be, I work all day, I get myself home, I sit there and watch television because I'm lonely. I feel disconnected. I feel alienated. I don't know how to connect with people. It seems like every day I get further and further away from connection, and I'm wondering, what am I doing? Another thing might be I'm married and I'm in a relationship and we seem to never have time to talk. There's no time to talk. We go to work, we get up, we go to work, we come home, we have dinner, we're busy, we do errands, we're paying our bills, we're, all of those mundane day-to-day things that are part of living, and we hopefully find some meaning in those. But what we're living right now is a life that's very, very full, full with a capital F, multiple capital Fs. Very, very full, very, very busy, and very survival oriented, because survival has taken on a much more critical level than it once did. Finances are much more of a struggle now. And we look at our choices in life, and we look at how we live our day to day. And when we're concerned about how we're going to pay our rent or a mortgage, when we're looking at rising costs of food, because we certainly look at that, what we used to be able to get before, we can't get anymore with our dollar. So we pay more attention to what we're doing and how we're doing it. But if food becomes more critical and access to good, healthy food, how many people can actually afford to buy all organic food or even understand what that means? A lot of people don't, but more and more people are. It's very expensive, especially with the family. So our housing is more critical, our food is more critical, access to health care, access to the medications we need. We worry and we stress about day-to-day survival. We're so busy that we are more and more disconnected from each other, or on our phones scrolling through the screen for hours and hours, and so are our children. We're disconnected, we're alienated. We're not involved in the things as much as we once were in time that bring us meaning, whether it's going to church, going to live music, playing an instrument, doing our art, going for walks, being in the garden, just sitting quietly and reflecting and having insight and connection to our own sense of life and meaning. We're so alienated, busy, and disconnected in the way we live.
Isn't it ironic that we pay so much money for connectivity?
Yeah.
And yet we are isolated in our own little worlds, and we wonder why.
Well, isn't that true? The internet, social media supposedly keeps us connected. And what it keeps us connected with sometimes is information, data, sometimes, like Zooming family and doing video chats with family, but that's not what we mostly spend our time on. We're on AI, asking questions, or
we're polarizing
each other.
Our viewpoints.
Yeah.
Or we're looking at something that we see all the time. It's just an incredible flood of choices to make, and I can't say that it's bad, but I think most people probably treat it as being bad. It's not in itself. Well, there's probably a lot of bad stuff out there, but if you want to sit out in the garden and look at a hummingbird, that's cool. But if you are inside or in a situation where the best thing you have is a picture of a hummingbird on your phone, well, that's not bad to look at.
Yeah.
But the polarization, the isolation, it comes with that connectivity that we pay so much for.
Yeah. And we lose the ability to relate to each other, to speak to each other. Couples will say that we don't talk anymore, we're on our phones. And why is this the case? Right? You have to look at what could possibly be the motivation behind this, or the agenda behind this, that we as a culture, I'll speak for this country, keep ourselves alienated, depressed, medicated, disempowered, disconnected. Why? And this is some of what I'd like for you to start asking yourselves. We spend our time paying income tax. We spend our time paying taxes on our house. We have sales tax. We have taxes when we go to register our car. We have medical insurance if you could afford it. We have car insurance. We have, everything's insured in our lives. And we spend so much money and so much time, and we're taxed so heavily, and we get so little for it, and we live these lives of alienation, disconnection, depression, and lack of motivation and meaning for a lot of people. And I don't mean to color it dark. This is just reality around us, and most of us will have experienced this or know someone who experiences it. So you look at what is the agenda, and I believe there is an agenda behind this, and I'm not here to necessarily give my opinion about what that is, but I want us to look at when we are so busy and so afraid and so disenfranchised, so alienated, so alone, struggling for survival, we have very little time to be quiet, to check in, and to feel true connection. Because if we did those things and we remembered what it feels like to not have two people having to work, but to be able to sit with each other and have meaningful conversation, to have time to hug our children and read them stories at night, to talk with our parents, to live by our family members. If we remember what it's like to feel our souls, and we remember what it's like to just look at nature and be moved and stirred by the beauty and the truths that live within that, or to hear a beautiful piece of music and be stirred, we might look at how we live our lives differently. We might remember a time deep in our souls when we lived differently, and it's not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And so what would the agenda be? To keep us focused on credit, debt, making money for somebody, giving our power away to somebody. Body could be plural. Mm-hmm. We are giving our power away for living this way. And when I talk to people about, is it possible that the problem isn't you? Again, once we've screened for medical and situational things in someone's life that could be causing a situational depression or lack of motivation, but we've kind of screened for that. Is it possible that the way you're living is alienating and disenfranchising and has no meaning? I see the power come back into a human being's eyes. Mm-hmm. That power of feeling, you mean it might not be me, there might be something out here that's doing this, mm-hmm. which then means I can look at this. I can reflect upon the choices I'm making in life, how I'm living, and look at the pieces, mm-hmm. and how do I take my power back? Right. And some of those things could be, how do we grow our own food? We don't grow our food anymore. How do I maybe change mm-hmm. my job? How do I change the time I devote to relationships? And often then what people come up against is, but I'm friggin' trapped. I'm trapped in this cycle of financial burden, of debt, of credit card payments, and I can't imagine how I can step out of that and find a way to live my life in a more meaningful way.
Truly a challenge.
Yes, but those are the most important questions.
Right. Yeah, if you can figure out and balance where you're putting your energy and what's taking away your energy and try to resolve some of that, I think you're on your way anyway to a more fulfilling and happy life.
Yeah. And we have to be willing to make changes. And, I remember a time in my life when I refused to have a credit card. I refused to have debt. No debt, no loans, nothing. I was free. And I felt such freedom. I was mm-hmm. that way when we met, mm-hmm. when we got together. I had no debt. It was such a freeing feeling mm-hmm. to know that I could work, pay my bills, and that was it.
I remember when I didn't have a car for the longest time. I was so free. I mean, I could get around, and resourceful people can figure out ways to, get around, and I was one of them. It was liberating in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. And now you imagine people drive for an hour on the roads, half hour on the roads to get to work. It's very difficult for people to live without debt, which equals credit, which equals approval for an apartment that you want to rent. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to not have a car because our public transportation system is terrible. And
so having one now, right?
Exactly. And so we look at how things are structured to keep us controlled and disempowered. So when you realize, a person realizes, wow, this could be outside of me, but I feel trapped. That is a pivotal point. It's very depressing to realize we are trapped. And often that's what's at the root of a lot of this lack of motivation and feeling depressed, mm-hmm. is we feel trapped. And the reality is this entrapment is very well orchestrated, because the more entrapped we are, the more we stay on this hamster wheel, the more we continue to have debt, the more credit, we apply for, the more we feel we need the bigger house, the more we can't grow our own food, the more we can't heat our house with wood instead of paying a huge PG&E bill. The wood is a lot more money now too. Mm-hmm. The more we are not able to live a sustainable life, maybe grow herbs and utilize that for our health, the more we buy into life as it is, the more we are trapped. And so we have to be willing to look at how we potentially are in agreement with living enslaved and entrapped lives. Because every day we do it, us included, we're in agreement with this, and we continue to perpetuate an enslaved and entrapped way of living. And that's exactly what those who are profiting, and I'm not going to get into who those are, those who are dependent upon us living this way for their profits and their control, as long as that's the case, this is how our lives will be structured. So the more we can free ourselves from some of this, the better. So I have some questions I want you to be able to ask yourself to help you begin to just look at your lives, look at what we're doing. So question number 1 is, are you happy? Truly happy? And then you'd have to say, well, some people say, I don't even know what happy means anymore. I'm just too busy working.
Sometimes I'm happy.
Sometimes in the moment.
Yeah.
But deeply.
Yeah.
Are you
Now, that's the
deeply
real
satisfied with your life? Are you happy? Question number 1. And if you're not, or if there are pieces that are not fulfilling and meaningful, the honesty and willingness to admit that to ourselves. And that's step 1. Once we can admit there are aspects of our lives that don't feel balanced, sustainable, don't bring us joy. You know, maybe we never see our kids, never see our spouse, never see our friends or family, don't have enough money for food, whatever it is that's causing stress, causing an imbalance, causing despair, causing unhappiness. We have to face that
Well, you would
and
have
name
to
it.
be fairly open and willing to see these things. I think a lot of people try to avoid even going there.
Because it's depressing. And it makes us often feel hopeless and trapped.
Yeah.
And that feeling is a feeling that we will flee from, you know, as best we can. And we'd rather medicate ourselves away because when we feel trapped, we feel hopeless, there's nothing we can do. We have to be willing to face it and acknowledge it. And then another question I want you to ask yourself is, what makes you happy? What are the things you enjoy doing? Like, I know for me, it's being with you. It's being with the kids, being with the grandkids, being in our garden, music. I know what serves my soul. And then to look at how much time in our lives do we actually devote? Do we have available?
How much time do we actually do the things that make us happy?
Yeah.
Compared to all the other things that we have to do.
Yeah. Oh, and some of the stuff we have to do, right? Like
We have to
pay
eat.
for our homes and our food, but how much time do we actually have? And most people, when I have them actually map it out, they're shocked at how little time they spend for the things that give them a reason to want to be here. So I want you to be willing to look at that. How much time do you sit in quiet when we turn off the noise? Television, the damn phones.
Or is that even possible for you to do? I mean, it's,
And if it isn't possible, that's an issue.
yeah. Or if it's fleeting, it's something to work on.
Yeah, exactly. So how much time do we sit in quiet where we access our power? We access our own truth. And in that, we often begin to see how the way we live, the things that we are indoctrinated to believe are essential and necessary and meaningful, is a myth that is perpetuated by externals. And when we're still and we're quiet and we have access to the things that give us joy, we can see how much of life is this lie, this myth of unnecessary realities that lay over us and we mistake as what's so. Why is life the way it is? Do we ever even question that? I do. I know you do. But a lot of people don't. Why do we do what we do? Who said it has to be this way? Who said? And that who becomes a very relevant question.
Yeah. Who made the rules?
Who made the rules? Where the hell did they come from? And we don't have to continue with those because they were made by humans who had an agenda in creating the rules to keep us hopeless, disenfranchised, and trapped so that we continue to on the hamster wheel to keep this machinery going that's necessary for power and profits. I want you to question everything. I want you to literally, even if just for an exercise for a day, question everything. See a headline. do something in your life and think, where does the belief that this is important come from? Just question everything and collect data on that information and really do a vigilant, critical inventory.
How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
And that's a good, if you can get to that point very quickly, you'll have your answer.
Yeah. How does it make me feel is something a lot of people never ask themselves. I don't have time to think about that. Do you know how many times I hear that? How many times maybe we've said it? I don't have time. I can't deal with that right now.
Or I prefer not to deal with that right now, which is a lot of the times the case.
Yeah. What do you think's behind that feeling?
Overwhelmed people who are already up to their eyeballs in life's situations and struggles, which can be severe or they can be not so severe to somebody else, but they are existent in people's fields.
So here's an example of craziness, the overwhelm. I had a client who's a parent, and they were in a custody situation, and this mother did not believe in extracurricular activities taking up a lot of time. She wanted to have, oh my God, dinner at home with her children every night. She wanted to be able to sit and have family time. All of these values and things that were so important to her. And when she was in her custody battle, she was told that she was selfish and not taking the children into consideration, their needs, because she wouldn't let them do a sport every single night when they were with her. And this was supported by family court, that she was selfish and not considering the well-being of the children because she felt that maybe one activity would be enough so that she could have time to read with her children, dance with the children, just have family time and slow dinners at home and enjoy that and do their homework and have a slower paced reality. That was judged by family courts as inappropriate, self-serving, and not taking the children's well-being. Like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
That's the question I want you to ask.
Control, overreach.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, overreach. So that's my rant for today, and our being enslaved and entrapped and feeling that way. And I want you to just, those of you who feel this way, because it's not everyone, but it's pervasive, to just say, okay, if it's not medical, if it's not situational, say someone's passed away or you've lost your job or you are losing your house, but if it's not that, okay, what potentially is it out here about how I'm living, and where did I get this notion that this is how we have to live? Where did I get the notion that I have to commute an hour a day and that that's okay? Where did I get the notion XYZ?
Yeah. And maybe dropping the notion, if that's possible, see where you land.
Yeah, exactly. See where you land, what's important for you.
Yeah.
So I want to hear how that goes for you. And please send some emails and comments. And I would love to hear what your experience of this is. So are we ready to flash back?
Yeah. Malfunction flashback.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. What I have here, and we'll show a still in the video of what this actually is. It's a 4-cassette set, Malfunction, Love Rock, 1983 to 1985. This is a retrospect. This goes from our punk days up until our I guess, glam heavy days. And of course the photo shoot was from Volunteer Park in Seattle, shot by my high school friend Peter Bunce.
Look how young you were.
Yeah.
All of you.
And lots of hair. Of course, Landrew there, taking front center, as he rightly should. So yeah, I'm bouncing around the idea of possibly releasing this, because I know that cassettes are actually kind of a big deal these days and are coming back, as is a lot of the physical media. So what I need to do, of course, is, these are the original tapes.
What's on there exactly?
This is our set in July 1985. Probably had songs like Sex Machine, My Love, Freedom, stuff like that. I mean, I need to catalog them, because what we have here, this little set was made by Andy back in the day, and it was originally a Pat Robertson cassette set.
Well, how to have successful family and finances in the kingdom of God.
Hey, that's not bad.
Interesting.
And it's kind of apropos of what we're talking about.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know about Pat Robertson. He's never been my favorite.
Yeah, I guess his heart's
There's
in the right
something
place.
about that that's poignant, though.
It's poignant.
What are these recordings of? I know I've asked you this, but our listeners might want to know, of actual performances or rehearsals or just demos?
These are were recorded in our rehearsal studio, and then overdubbed. The vocals were overdubbed by Landrew, Andy, after the fact. And so our rehearsal situation was such that it was so loud that the PA couldn't keep up with the amps and the drums. So Andy would take them later on and overdub the vocals. So that's what we have. We had that record come out on, oh God, what was it? It was about 6 months ago. And it contained a lot of this kind of stuff, but there's gobs of it. And this stuff is currently unreleased.
Are there songs on there that have never been heard?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, we were so prolific, and we were always writing new songs. Yeah, this Drop You a Bomb, It Didn't Last Long EP, that's what the title is to this, and it's a representation of what we were doing probably in 1984. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff here that nobody's ever heard, and I would imagine there's stuff that I haven't heard since it was recorded.
Yeah. Is there a reason that hasn't been released before? That's like a gem.
It is a gem, and I think that probably the reason why it wasn't released initially is because the sound quality is not, this is lo-fi. One mic in a room, and but it has charm, and I think as time goes by, that charm sort of overrides the high fidelity sound that people might really want or could access on other releases. A lot of the post-Andy stuff, all of the post-Andy stuff is recorded in pretty high definition, and of course the Back to Olympus album, it's got great sound quality, but
I'd want to hear some of the stuff I've never heard before.
it's very entertaining actually, and it really brings back a lot of memories for me. It's really fun.
Any that you want to share?
Memories?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's tons of memories. I mean, this photo shoot was a great memory. We piled in Regan's Volkswagen bus and headed out to Volunteer Park, and we were dressed to the T's as complete rock stars, and it was just a lot of fun. And I think I probably took a couple handfuls of Liberty Caps for that shoot. Can I say that on the air? Anyway.
You talking vitamins?
Huh?
You talking vitamins?
Yeah, vitamins. Vitamin.
Were all of you like
psilocybin.
that, taking the same supplements?
No, I was on my own on that trip, but yeah.
At least you made it to that photo shoot, because I know of some of them that you didn't make it to.
Well, yeah, there was one photo shoot in particular. We did one with Lance Mercer. I didn't make it. I felt bloated, and I didn't want to be photographed that way, and I didn't know it was like such a big deal. I thought it was just some kid with a camera, and so I thought, well, let's reschedule, so I can I look my best. Anyway, they went along with the idea that they could disguise Andy's girlfriend at the time and make her appear to be me, which didn't work. But Andy and Regan were dressed so flamboyantly in their rock outfits that they really kind of stole the show anyway. So the pictures are what they are, and they're great of Andy and Regan, but I'm not in those. It kind of makes me cringe every time I see a picture that somebody posts, or it's actually on the box set. So it's something that I have to live with.
Yeah, you didn't show up.
I didn't show up. Oh well.
So men actually don't show up because they're bloated too?
Well, yeah. That was where my head was at the time.
But I understand that,
Yeah.
right? Because we women have that all the time.
Yeah.
Special time of the month, they're different, like we're bloated. But
Oh, it was
I
like-
rarely hear a man say,
My face
I was bloated.
Probably from drinking too many beers the night before,
but I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And any other stories?
No, I've got tons of stories, but we've probably run over. We'll have to do a story time episode.
So what is the intention behind this? Do you think that you could digitize this and actually release the whole set?
I don't want to digitize it. I want to make copies just like this
Of cassettes?
and have them put on cassettes. And of
Does
course,
anyone out there have a cassette player these days?
you should get one because it's
Do you have one?
It's a new thing. Yes,
You
I
have
do.
one, but it's not hooked up, is it?
It's hooked up.
Oh, I didn't think it
Yeah.
was.
I've got cassettes. Cassettes are great, and like I said, they're
I
coming
vote for vinyl.
back. Vinyl. Well, I think we could probably produce vinyl out of this, but it would lose its charm. The 4-cassette set.
Well, that's exciting to me.
Yeah.
I had no idea up until today that there was music on this that hadn't been heard before.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. A lot of music that hasn't been heard before.
Well, there you go for Malfunction Flashback. Those are fun.
Yeah.
I learned something about them too every time we have these.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to think about, and the days are fond memories. That's for sure.
Well, there you go.
All right, I guess that's a wrap.
A wrap. I'd like to remind folks that we are periodically posting, not episodes, but short posts. And those are our behind the scenes clips of our personal life, or you could see our cat in a recent one sleeping in her bed, or maybe thoughts about an upcoming episode. But the behind the scenes information and clips are going in the posts, so look for those and you'll get notification. Subscribe, please, so you are notified. It's free. All you have to do is click subscribe.
Comment.
Yeah.
It helps our analytics.
Yeah, it's only a small handful of people that actually are looking at these videos that subscribe. And a lot of people don't even know you can subscribe. But you can. And you can leave comments.
Let us know what you like and what you want more of, because we're experimenting with all kinds of things. We're bringing in guests via Zoom, and
That's been fun to have
it was
guests.
fun to have Mike last week.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike stirred my memory because I was showing him my guitar collection after the taping or the recording of our interview, and he knocked this over and spilled out all over the floor. And I picked it up. And I thought, oh wow. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
I'm glad you did. So, we wish you well today. Hope you're happy. Go find your happiness. Sit down and take a look at your life and reflect upon if you're happy and what makes you happy and what you can change and any resistance to change, what that might be. And take some sovereignty and control back in your life and go listen to some Malfunction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.